I started Greenstone about a year ago. At that time, they were aware that there is a lot of trauma mixed up with addictions. So, came here. I did a sort of a survey, after a month, and 54% of the clients were being referred for trauma issues as well. About 2 months ago, it was over 90%. So my work here at Greenstone with the team is to develop a trauma program. I think the big thing at Greenstone is it's the blend of the addiction and the trauma. So what we tend to see is people cope with their anxiety with, say, alcohol. You know, the number of people I said, I couldn't sleep until I discovered alcohol, and then I could. And then it just gets worse and worse, right? And then we have two crises. You know, the crisis of addiction and the crisis of trauma. When I look at the symptoms, shall we say, the reaction to a traumatic event, it's about helplessness and it's about being trapped. And that sounds like addiction. You know, people get lost in their addiction, they feel helpless, they can't stop it. They've got not only an emotional dependency, but a chemical, physical dependency, and they're trapped. And their lives are falling apart. So I don't know that people are calling that trauma, but sure got all the indications of trauma. One of the things we talk about are triggers, where, you know, if something, I mean, we're sitting out here in nature, right? If you had a traumatic experience near a pine tree or whatever, you go out, be sitting here, and you wouldn't feel very good, right? And it's like, but it's beautiful. But your body's picking up. It's picking up the tree. It's picking up the green. The body records everything. What doesn't matter what you're thinking at the time of trauma. In the sense, your body records it all. It records it in sound, in sight, in touch, in taste, and all of those things. Walk into a room, feel like totally scared or totally angry. And it's your body saying, there's a color, there's a smell. It was there during the trauma. Be on alert, right? And so totally safe place becomes unsafe. I was working with a young lady, had a panic attack in math class. Totally embarrassing. Totally didn't know what was going on, so she's not going to math class. Her friends in the next class in science say, where were you in math class? And then she's not going to science, and then she's not even going to school, right? So I think for a lot of people, it's mysterious. Trauma goes deep inside of our minds, of our belief system. I mean, it's almost impossible for us to change a belief. Trauma will do it in a second. And that's all it takes, right? If you get a big enough a dose of this sense of helplessness, and by helplessness, I mean like surrender. Like, I mean, the number of young women and some young men that I work with that have been sexually assaulted, you'll hear words like, I gave up, I surrendered, right? What they're really saying is, I was totally helpless. It shifts from helplessness to, it was my fault, right? You know, I used to work with kids in divorce situations, and little Johnny said, it's my fault, and parents are saying, no, we just don't like each other, right? But they're missing the point. He feels helpless. And so he takes responsibility. It's my fault. Now, why would you do that? Because you want control. At least if it's my fault, I had some control. I blew it, I messed it up, but I had control, right? It's not the end of the trauma damage. So now it's shifted, it's your fault. It doesn't take a long leap to go to, I hate myself. Look what I've done to my life. I ruined it, right? That leads to fear of self and people shutting down. And to me, that's the damage of trauma. It damages our belief system. It does a whole lot of other things. But in my work, in trying to help people through traumatic experiences, what I'm looking for is the damage, the distortions. I worked with a young man who was carjacked, him and his friend. He was a teenager, first time having a car, in beautiful Pickering, Ontario, and the guy, about his age, holds a machete up to his throat, right? He survived it, that sort of stuff. But, you know, For the first 2 weeks, nobody was sleeping because he was having nightmares and waking up screaming. Finally gets somehow the nerve to go outside, right? All sorts of things go wrong, right? The great thing was, in the work, I got to work with him within a couple of months of the event. And already I could see the distortions happening because he said, well, you know, we speak a different language. They were Eastern European. We could have come up with a plan. I was bigger than him. I could have beat him up or something. I thought, you forget the machete against your throat part? One of the things I think is important in what I said to him is the job in a traumatic situation, your only responsibility is to survive. That's it, right? But the distortions move so fast. So because we could catch the distortions, like it's my fault, I could have been a superhero, right? No, you just needed to survive and you did that, right? He understood it and the distortion stopped. And 2 months later, he's okay. Even though carjacking, robbery, threatened life, all of those things. Trauma is a place. Trauma steals us to a place beyond our worst nightmare, and then becomes our worst nightmare. It is a place beyond the reach of best intentions, a place beyond heroes and saviors, where the cavalry does not ride in at the last moment to save the day. It moves us beyond the reach of those whose love would protect us. Trauma is a place beyond time's power to heal. It's a festering foulness that clings to our senses. You can't get it off no matter how deep you cut. It's a taste that no amount of alcohol can wash away. Overwhelming loss that no combination of drugs can alter. It's the sound of a scream that no amount of noise can hide. It's darkness absorbing the light. It gets into your cells. It stains your soul. It's a tightly woven blanket of thorns on the coldest night of your life. Trauma will defy all you accomplish and bring you to the knees of your child self. It will allow you to consider the unbelievable, that death could offer more peace than life offers hope. What the defense system tries to do is take random events, because bad things do happen, hard things do happen, right? Hypervigilance will say, let's assume they happen all the time. Let's be on guard all of the time. And so trauma is taking a random event and making it a daily event. Although it's not actually happening, right? But we're prepared for it. Right. So people are scared all the time. If you want to know if somebody has anxiety, listen to the words, what if? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if that doesn't happen, right? What if I can't escape? What if I have a panic attack? Language of anxiety. And unfortunately, it switches from what if to when. When's it going to happen? It's going to happen, but when? So, a car accident. How often, unless you're a bad driver, how often do we have car accidents? Right. But the hypervigilance would say, maybe today. Maybe today it'll happen. Maybe I better not go out. It's going to happen. Alcoholism or drug addiction, to me, from my focus on trauma, is only where it's getting played out. It's not the problem. It becomes a problem. Could be eating disorders, could be anything. Deadly problems. But the cause is a traumatic experience. Right. So when people come here, we focus, one, on the addiction, if there's mostly, it's the gateway in here, but being very sensitive to how trauma's played out in their lives. So we help them make connections. We review their life. To me, my work is like a detective. And I say to a client, like, you and I will work together as detectives. We're looking for clues. We're looking for connections. We're looking for distortions. And as we correct them over time, people heal. So we do it with gentleness. We do it with kindness. We do it with this beautiful environment that we have. If I had a dream, it would be to break the back of trauma in my lifetime. What does that mean? It's beatable. It's totally beatable. It's also phenomenally hard work. And so I think places like Greenstone, to me, it's a gift. It's a really hard gift, and people can get overwhelmed but people talk about magic here. They talk about things changing. and we see it, and they get their lives back. And that, I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I love this work. It's hard,
Yeah.
but man, the rewards are incredible.